Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now there is part three. My victimhoods at the hands of conservative, written by Stetson Harwick. Remember, Stetson Harwick doesn't exist, so that means the author does not exist, even though it actually says right fucking here. Like the name of the author right here in this screen grab I'm gonna put up in the cloud reader. Remember, does not exist, but at the same time somehow wrote a book. Okay then. Dedicated to AOSA, the victims of conservatives, and their oppressive stance against humanity, the entire LGBTP plus community, and all the liberals who stand up against conservative oppression. It's not even oppression. People just disagree with your stupid fucking opinions, and then you screech and cry about it because it's the only thing you know how to do that keeps you from putting a razor blade up your own ass. Seriously. The only reason you have not killed yourself is because you're genuinely afraid. Like, really, all you're doing at that point is just, you're whining. You're whining about fucking nonsense. And demanding that the nonsense you whine about be treated as though it's a real issue in the world. It's not. You're just a fucking dick and people don't like you. So you spurg out and cry about it. Chapter 1. He becomes a victim. Yeah, I know he faced criticism and admonishment for some of his views when he came to being in the United States, but remember, like, criticism is the same thing as him being dragged into the street and tortured. In a sad and pathetic way, conservatives have ruined and destroyed the very fabric of humanity. Not really, because if you look at people that are walking around in society right now, they're living their lives like everyone else would normally live. You're acting like someone being criticized for having really abhorrent views is somehow going to cause the entirety of society just to collapse in on itself like a neutron star and then implode. No. You're just an idiot and you cry about stupid shit, so you demand that everyone act like it's a national tragedy, like 9/11. It's not. From their control on who we choose to live, to what our sexuality is, they wander blindly around, living their life in a lie. And when the opportunity comes, there are many opportunities to get an education, and better themselves, i.e. learn how life works and how the universe works. They want to mock reality, bully humanity, and promote their insanity. And for what? Because they are too close-minded to free their minds. Again, your whole idea of freeing someone's mind means that you tell someone all of your bullshit ideas and theories about life. And the only way that you would ever really deem them to be free mentally, so to speak, would be if they just went along with what you said 100% and didn't challenge any of it. See, that's the thing. You keep trying to say you're trying to encourage people to, like, challenge the status quo, but you're not. Because you're more or less trying to enforce a new status quo that no one is even bothering to give a shit about or really pay attention to. And I think that's what royally chaps your ass, is the fact that people know what you're saying, and they don't fucking care for it because it's a bunch of stupid shit no one can pay attention to or care about, really. You see, these conservatives have no respect for anyone. This coming from the same person who goes to literally every single one of his detractors, and whenever he finds an opportunity to bring up shit from their personal lives to throw at them like stones, you do it without a second thought. Instead, they call humanity, quote, dirty, scumbags, fish, faggots, and dirty. You spell faggots right for the first time ever. Congratulations. Then they think that they are justified to make up fake news videos on YouTube and social media in order to spread their hate against humanity. No, it's just the fact that when people criticize you being a stupid piece of shit, you get mad about it, and then you have to try to make it some sort of grand statement about everyone else alive, when you're the one getting the tongue lashing and nobody else has even been mentioned. except for people who are either of your particular ilk or people who have brought their attention to you. Therefore, victimizing, bullying, humanity under the disguise of protecting humans. Translation: you criticize a nonce for having Nazi fucking opinions, and then you sit there saying that the person criticizing the nonce is the bigot because they don't want the nonce to be around children. Fuck off. This is where Amos Yee comes in. A brilliant, smart, open-minded person drew attention to horrible, closed-minded conservative bullies who can't tell the difference between time and age. Time and age are synonymous with each other, you stupid motherfucker. That's why age and time are used in place of each other in particular statements and paragraphs. When someone says one thing, you're like, the reason people don't say, well, they are 25 years of time, is because that sentence does not flow. There is no flow to that sentence. You sound like an illiterate when you say that. When someone says, this person has been alive for 24 years, it's basically the same thing as saying they are 24 years of age, or they were born 24 years ago on the anniversary of that day. It's the same shit, except you're trying to switch it around. You're a borderline pseudo-intellectual who pretends to be a genius just because he talks like a lunatic. When Amos Yee admitted that love has no age and that the ideology of the conservative were wrong, they brought hell against them because apparently Amos Yee is like a flock of birds. It's a flock of Amos Yees. No. People criticized Amos for his whole baby porn advocation bullshit because of the fact that it was more or less saying that someone that can't even read or write or even do anything at all for themselves yet because their brain is still developing should be involved in like extremely mature situations like that, and that's when people got really pissed off about it. He was thrown into, he took asylum because he said things that could have resulted in racial and religious tensions exploding in his home country, which in turn could have resulted in riots or potentially loss of human life. Like, why is it that he's okay to, like, shit on Islam instead of just criticizing it? He straight up insulted a religion that's very, very prominent in his home country, which could have resulted in violence, and you're fine with that. But if I simply say, I'm not a fan of child marriage or female genital mutilation or Sharia law because I feel like these things are negative to women and children, you sit there and say, well, you're a conservative, bigot, bullying Nazi, re. No, it's not. It's not Islamophobic or anything like that to simply say, I just don't agree with these principles of that religion because those principles hurt people. It's the same reason I don't agree with the whole gay or trans people being, like, thrown off roofs and shit in, like, prominently Islamic countries. It's because I don't agree with that kind of horrific treatment of people for something as small as that reason. How do I know? Because I was a witness. I saw, read, and heard everything in this book and the many other books. I would expose the illegality of the conservative fraction of our planet called Earth. Translation: someone got criticized, you got a sore ass over it, and you started making it a big fucking deal to scream and cry about. Here's the weird little thing that Professor Curious, myself, and everyone else that has dealt with you noticed over the years. Whenever someone that you favor in any way is getting criticized, or even if it's someone that you don't like criticizing anybody at all for legitimate reasons, you cry about it and you throw a fit about it, and then you start doing everything you fucking can to white knight for the person, even if it's someone that's done genuinely horrific, abhorrent shit. Even if the person in question has done some shit that's like legitimately fucking horrific, you will still stick up for them. And then say, well, they're a human being, and they deserve rights, and they deserve to be treated good, and they're a good person, despite all the horrible shit they do. But whenever someone criticizes you, and, like, you find anything about them that can use against them, you say, well, I'm just exposing this, and it is my business, and I am protecting the people, and I am spreading awareness. You're not. You're not. You're just a fucking chode who will be a massive fucking hypocrite at the drop of a hat when they decide that trying to adhere by the rules they set aside for themselves is not working for them. That's what the fuck you do. Whenever things are convenient for you, you drop whatever bullshit facade of civility and kindness you put up, so that you can get right back to being a shit. That's what you do. You say that people don't have the right to talk about other people's lives, but then you talk about their lives in like really incendiary ways by just bullshitting about everything that goes on in their life so that you have a reason to try to crucify them over shit. And then you immediately go right back to, well, even though I just did everything I say these people are doing in a much more severe way because I'm actually straight up lying about people and publishing the lies as though they are true, these other people do not have the right to say anything about anything because, in my opinion, it's okay when I do it, but if they do it for any reason at all that might be warranted in any way, they're the ones that are wrong, and if they dare say mean things about me, I'm gonna cry and throw myself on the floor like a retard. Seriously, that's what you do. Whenever anyone that you know about, or even people that you don't know are criticized, you defend them like a fucking rabid fanboy. Even if these are people that you don't know or people that you wouldn't even agree with. If I made a video about a murderer who had killed like 37 fucking people, you would be bitching about me saying this person deserves to be fucking killed for murdering innocent people. Because, well, you said this person deserves to die. Yes, because they killed hundreds of people, potentially. Would you have said the same thing, for example, if Adolf Hitler was still alive and I said Adolf Hitler was a horrible piece of shit for killing millions of innocent fucking people? Would you say that? Would you straight up say, well, you're not allowed to say that about Adolf Hitler, dude, he killed millions of fucking people? For no reason except for the fact that he needed someone to blame for Germany's hard economic downturn during the beginning of World War I, during like post-World War I economy. And he blamed the Jewish people because he thought that blaming them for the economy's downfall would be a lot easier than trying to do something to stabilize the economy by trying to diversify Germany's economy. But remember, like you would defend Adolf Hitler. You would straight up defend Adolf Hitler if it was made to get like a dig at me, even though he was a lot more radical and a lot more fascist than myself or anyone that I associate with ever has been or ever will be. First off, let's start with something simple, like the author. Like when Amos Gage stood up against conservatives' hypocrisy by stating the truth that people should not be discriminated against or stigmatized by conservatives and their counterparts. Well, here's the thing though. You're a liberal and you also stigmatize anyone that's even remotely different from you. You by default are stigmatizing others because when someone disagrees with you even on one position, you automatically stigmatize them as a conservative and you attach the stigma that being a conservative in your mind is synonymous with. So whenever they disagree with you, you automatically believe that they're a Nazi or a racist or they hate gay people or they hate trans people. Like, you know, the whole 9 yards of stupid bullshit people like you say whenever you can't really prove what you say, but you just keep saying it to argue yourself in circles like an idiot because you're a fucking retard who genuinely believes that anyone that disagrees with you is automatically a hard right-wing Christian neo-Nazi conservative who hates gay and trans people. That's your mindset. You legitimately think that everyone that disagrees with you on anything at all, even if it's a small thing, you treat them as though they're all the same thing as people like fucking Bill O'Reilly, for fuck's sake. Or Ann Coulter's crazy ass. Or even someone as crazy as Caitlyn fucking Bennett. No. People are not like that. They just don't want to believe everything you fucking tell them to because it's not their job to only believe what you want them to. And that seems to be your fucking problem, is that if they don't agree with you 110%, you straight up cast them into a group of conservatives. Like, you keep trying to put people in a bin to categorize them, but when they don't fit into one particular bin because their views are not black and white, they have some gray areas in terms of what some of their views are and their beliefs are, you just keep trying to stuff them into one or the other because your brain can't handle the world not being a binary. Like, the weird thing is, you believe in the whole non-binary when it comes down to people being trans or gender fluid, for example. But then at the same time, you don't believe that a person's opinions could be more of a purple than a strictly red or a strictly blue. You think it's ridiculous that someone's views may be purple, but not red or blue. That's what happens. Like, when someone's views are more of a purple color, you freak out and rage because their views do not mesh with one or the other completely. And I think that's what just causes your brain to blow the back out of your ass. Let's keep reading. This statement is 100% truth. Can you do me a favor and actually just type out the word 100 and percent instead of typing the number with a percent sign like you're 7? And no, it's not 100% true, because realistically, the reason that there are certain people that are not allowed to fuck other people is because one of them is vastly older, vastly more intelligent, they know a lot more about the world, they could easily bribe the person into fucking them with candy or money or gifts, to the point to where this person doesn't even know what they're doing because they have not been educated about what these things fucking mean. You're an idiot. Like, Amos Yee even had to walk back his own opinions when he realized that his opinions were getting him, like, a particularly large amount of backlash. I mean, here's the thing, the dude advocated for baby porn and toddler porn, and for some reason you're trying to sit there and say, yeah, this is a completely normal way to behave, this is a completely normal thing to advocate for. Like, seriously, you have a picture of an infant on your Instagram. Whose kid is that? Whose fucking kid is that? I would like to talk to this person about your views about pedophilia and baby porn and shit. I would love to hear their thoughts when they realize that one of the people that you were simping for the fucking hardest on the internet was always the motherfucker calling for baby porn. Like, I want to hear that. I want to hear the person's voice when they realize that that's what you've advocated for, by proxy of advocating for this person's freedom and their rights being given back when they were arrested for being a fucking nonce. Nobody deserves to be discriminated against, and nobody deserves to be stigmatized. Again, you're stigmatizing anyone that's even centrist or classical liberal or libertarian or even people that are anarchists, because an anarchist would also not believe in anything that you believe in because you're nuts. And you call all these people conservatives as a pejorative, but remember, you're totally not stigmatizing people when you do that. Especially when it involves another person's sexuality, beliefs, or lifestyle choices. Well, then why the fuck are you stigmatizing people that are gay, saying that they can't be gays because they don't agree with you? Like, why is it that you're trying to act like the fairy fucking godmother of who is and who is not gay or not? You're a dumbass. A course. If you say a course one more time, I'm gonna smash you across the head with a fucking bat. That is exactly what these conservatives did. Translation: they disagree with Amos wanting to fuck babies because they explain that a baby is not smart enough or physically developed enough to handle sexual intimacy because you could actually destroy their organs and maybe kill them with penetration. But remember, we're not going to talk about the biology of it and the potential damage it could do to their body because that would destroy my fuddy-duddy Disneyland view of the world. They discriminated against Amos by not allowing him time to explain his position without judgment in the debates that the conservatives started on YouTube. They mock and tease him behind his back on YouTube and slander his name on YouTube and elsewhere. It's not really slander when someone openly says they would like to fuck babies and children, and then someone straight up says, well, that's kind of fucked up, and people believe that you might be a pedophile. Like, that's not people slandering them when they straight up say, well, given your opinions and given what you're saying, you might be X, Y, and Z. That's not slander, that's speculation at best. A mean joke at worst. And it's not really, like, here's the thing, when someone barges into a debate uninvited, it's not their job to sit there and tolerate him being there without anyone's fucking permission, especially when there was actually no prior knowledge that he was gonna fucking be there. If someone's eating dinner, for example, am I allowed just to burst into their fucking house and demand food from someone else's plate when they had no idea I was going to be over there and I basically just jumped in without anyone's knowledge of my prior presence? I would think not. Then they want to act like they gave him equal opportunity just like everyone else, which is a complete lie. Well, here's the thing, when Amos Yee debated Jeff Holiday and all his other people, he did have equal ability to talk, but the problem is he didn't have anything that could actually back up his position, which basically put him between a rock and a hard place when it came down to trying to argue effectively, because he didn't have any real evidence that could back up his claims. If anything, they tormented the hell out of Amos, and for what? No legitimate reason. You mean like how you continue to exist for no legitimate reason whatsoever. their reasons, which is no excuse for his actions, including calling him a pedo apologist, which everyone knows, person with a brain, would know does not exist. Translation: I say certain words don't exist, so therefore the negative connotations associated with them don't exist. And if they dare criticize me or disagree with me, I'm gonna scream and cry and shit all over myself because I have the mental capacity of a fucking retarded toddler. Take a break real quick. Everyone, except conservatives and their counterparts, in parentheses, knows that the truth is the most important form of information there is. Again, though, your whole idea of the truth is whatever you personally believe is true. Everyone has their own views and their own beliefs that they think are true. However, if other people's information is proven to be objectively true, and I use the word objectively, which means it's true on the basis that it actually exists in every form possible that can be examined and studied, then it is not based upon opinion at that point, like almost everything you say is. Let's see. Any fuck conservative can enforce fake news and call it, quote, truth. Not really, because if it's really false, other people, regardless of where they know, would see it to be false. So that's the problem with you. You genuinely believe that if you don't think it's true, then it's false. You have the right to not agree with it, you have the right to not believe it, but that does not mean other people's entire view of society should be terraformed just to meet what you personally think society should adhere to. Because that's the thing, you're talking as though society is obligated to adhere to a bunch of bullshit that you decide to make up. That's not how that works. Damien Skyfire, a conservative, translation, anyone that's a centrist or even a liberal must be a conservative because they don't agree with Stetson being a retarded nonce. Does this all the time on YouTube. Yes, we all know. We all know he criticizes people that do awful things, and that's conservative to do. But you're allowed to do these poor me books and baby crybaby bullshit nonsense publications where you throw yourself on the ground and pee. In fact, that is the only type of videos that he knows how to make. You don't know how to make videos, period, so there's that. Fake news videos about people who he randomly selected to bully and persecute for no reason, or reasons that makes no sense to intelligent human beings, in parentheses. You're not an intelligent human being, you're just another dumb fuck on the internet that thought if he spastically babbled bullshit like a pseudo-intellectual that it meant he was some sort of philosopher. You're not like Plato or Socrates or Aristotle. You're just a dumbass that decided to be spat out a bunch of... You basically regurgitated a load of bullshit someone else had already said. Except you decided to stretch the bullshit further because it's even more bullshit when you realize that how crazy it sounds coming out of anyone's mouth. Let alone someone who actually looks like a schizophrenic. But only a person with wisdom, knowledge, and a proper education, liberal, socialist, etc. will speak the truth and would not victimize innocent people like Amos in order to push a conservative agenda, or any agenda for that matter. Well, here's the thing. You do try to harass people to push an agenda, except the agenda is straightforward with you. Because here's the thing. Your agenda is one that you try to hide behind pretty wording and, like, weird phrasing, but the reality is it's pretty simple. You want someone to lynch someone you don't like. You want violence to be inflicted upon them. You want destruction to be given to their life. You want them to face hell for calling you mean names on the internet. The only difference is that you, instead of simply saying, I don't like you and I find what you do to be shitty, you instead decide to use facetious languaging and, like, phrasing it, and try to use different phrasing as a way to make people see things your way. Because you keep trying to use victim language. Use language that people that see themselves as victims use to make people believe that they are being victimized and vilified for no legitimate reason. You're not really a victim when you're constantly begging for bullshit to happen. It's the same reason that Amos can't really call himself a victim when he actively went up to people saying things that he knew that he was well aware would be incendiary to a lot of people and most likely inflame a lot of bullshit. And he did it willingly. You cannot say someone's a victim when they actively go up to people with the intention of starting something, and then when they get what they expect to get when they start it, they lose any ability to complain. Amos, he had a hard life because of conservatives. No, he had a hard life because he decided to say things that resulted in potentially causing violence in his home country. It wasn't conservatives, it was religious fundamentalists in his home country, and not every religious fundamentalist is a conservative. Just because someone adheres to their religion does not necessarily mean that they're a conservative. And here's the thing, if you do want to criticize a person's dogmatic beliefs in that religion, fair enough. But the fact is, a person is also obligated to be aware of what they're doing in their home country, especially when their home country has very, very high religious tensions that could be agitated, and that could result in violence if those fucking tensions finally decide to spill over. If those tensions boil over because of something you say, then it is your fault, because you were the one instigating those conflicts with people. It was the conservatives who put him in jail in Singapore. It was the conservatives who threw him in jail when he arrived in America until he received his asylum, because of the failed immigration system that was also created and promoted by conservatives. And it is conservatives who put Amos Yee in intellectual bondage because of his anti-conservative / realistic stance on how the world works and how people should be treated. No, he was criticized because he had, pro-pedophilia views when he arrived in the United States. He was placed in a holding facility because people wanted to make sure that everything about him was on the up and up before he was allowed into the country. It's not really prison. Now, granted, those centers are not really great, but they're not meant to be great. They're meant just to be holding facilities until they know whether or not you're a threat to the citizens or the public. Say what you want, but it might be necessary. And if the system is so failed, then leave the fucking country and go somewhere else. So that's the thing, you keep saying how bad America is, but you don't leave it. It's almost like you know that if you said this shit anywhere else, you just get killed for it. Like, here's the thing, in America, people will call you an idiot, say that your views are stupid. And that'll be about it unless you decide to try to take a swing at them. That'll be it. In other countries, you could face death or imprisonment for saying the shit that you're saying in these books. So count your fucking blessings. Because realistically, if you were in China, you'd be jailed for being gay. If you believed in Islam, you'd be jailed for being someone who practices Islam. And that's in China, one of those countries you love so fucking much. They may be a trade partner, but the way they treat gay and Islamic people is kind of fucked up. In all truth, you don't know what the truth is because your whole idea of truth is anything that you personally believe to be accurate. Amos has every reason to sue those people on YouTube who finds it okay misspelled, and even funny, to destroy a person's reputation and be responsible for their character assassination against them. It's not character assassination if someone openly says a bunch of stuff online in public with their name and face attached to it, and people criticize them for it because of the fact that their views are potentially dangerous to people. It's not character assassination when someone criticizes someone's behavior. It's not. Just like when I say that you accusing people of bullshit for no reason at all except for the fact that you have nothing to go against them with, is also me criticizing your behavior. And what's he gonna sue them for? Saying things that he said? For quoting him word for word and pointing out why those arguments don't work in a real world when you look at the logistics of it? Seriously, get fucked. Whatever legal action Amos Yee takes against those YouTube conservative trolls is up to him in the end. It's not trolls. These were people who brought up legitimate concerns with his fucking views because they took a lot of issue with them. The reality is Amos Yee was the one going up to people making intentionally incendiary statements, hoping to instigate conflict with people. You lose the right to call yourself a victim when you walk up to someone and slap them across the face and then say, well, why are you beating me up now? I just attacked you. But you don't start a sentence with a word, but whatever he chooses, the vast majority of people except conservatives support him and love him dearly and wholeheartedly. Name one fucking person aside from yourself and another nonce who openly supports Amos Yee for his bullshit behavior. Oh wait. Other than someone from fucking Nambla. Unlike the conservatives who doesn't even know what love is. They claim they do, but the reality is that all that they don't. If they did, they, the conservatives, would know how to treat people and respect and stop coming up with stupid excuses like respect is given, it is not. Respect is not given, it's earned, which is a lie because I can spend 100 years trying to quote gain your respect, but you can still treat me like crap, which is what the conservatives are doing. All they want to do is pick and choose who they want to respect, which is why the KKK exists. They want to pick and pick white people to respect and everyone else to neglect. Translation: if I act like a shitty person to you when you don't respect me, it means that you're part of the KKK, cause I'm a fucking retard. No, here's the thing. When you act like a shitty person, they're not going to respect you. When you treat someone else like complete shit and talk down to them about everything they've ever gone through in life, they are not going to care what they say to you and how you feel about what they say to you. Because by talking to them the way that you did before, you are showing them that you don't give a shit what they went through or how it affected them. And because of that, people are not really particularly choosy about how you feel about yourself based upon what they say to you. Because you've already shown them that you do not give a shit what they've gone through. Which means they themselves also should not care what you might have gone through. The end. That's not how life works. The reality is respect is given, not earned. Everyone deserves respect. Even if you don't agree with that person. But, again, starting to say the word but, dumbass. With conservatives, they respect only those who believe what they believe. Well, here's the thing. If everyone is given respect, then why is it that you giving me respect and respecting my right to privacy and respecting my right to be left alone when I tell you to go away? Why is it that you respecting me is entirely conditional on whether or not I remove content based upon you? Why is it that I have to do things in order to meet that requirement, but I'm just supposed to give you respect based on the principle that you happen to exist? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Because you're making demands of someone saying, I demand respect, ergo you must give it, but I will not respect you in kind until you do things that I demand that you do. See, that's the thing. You're requesting something in exchange for respect, and then you're saying that they have to earn your respect, but they have to give you respect. That's fucking bullshit. You're basically just demanding that people treat you better than you treat them. And then you're doing it while also saying that they are not permitted to request the same treatment because, they said something mean to you. Which is why Amos is a victim. If you start shit with people, you lose the right to call yourself a victim because you're the one openly poking and prodding people into responding. Because he is Asian. Conservatives hate that. I am a victim of that as well. No, you're just an asshole that went out of your way to scream and cry oppression when people told you to stop being an idiot. No, here's what happened. He said a whole bunch of things people didn't agree with. They criticized him for it and pointed out the problems of his argument. And you call it victimization because people weren't just mindlessly jumping to their knees and blowing him repeatedly like you would have. Let's be honest. Every bit of criticism he got was never about his race, his nationality, or even his sexual orientation. It was about the fact that his opinions were really, really negative and could have resulted in people getting hurt. Because he is teaching reality and not fake news propaganda. Quote, in parentheses, Amos is not teaching that as well. Because he is teaching reality, not fake news propaganda. Amos is not teaching the conservative doctrine. This is also why conservatives hate Common Core curriculum in schools. The reason people take issue with Common Core curriculum is that instead of being focused more upon making sure that it's actually information that can be utilized outside of the classroom, it became a matter of trying to prioritize book learning rather than actually learning things that are specified to help a person survive in modern society as an adult when they leave school. The reason people criticize Common Core is because a lot of it is just not being done in a way that you can apply it to real life and live with it. Like all the stuff that you should learn, like how to balance a checkbook and how to how to schedule appointments and things. They're not teaching people that in schools anymore. They are not teaching people how to live on their own anymore before they leave school. They find out that people leaving high school, they're actually becoming less equipped to live life after school now. Because instead of being taught things that help them survive, they're being taught things that are only book learning. Instead of trying to specialize people in what they might want to learn down the road, they try to specialize people in what they need to learn then and there. But the problem is, as a result, they're not learning everything they need to learn, they're learning what the school tells them to learn. Which is a lot of things that people criticize. It's a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Conservatives hate them. They don't even believe that they exist. Conservatives believe that they are sinners and filthy, amongst other things. In fact, they try to dismantle certain parts of the LGBTQ community and falsely stating that certain letters of the acronym LGBTQ does not exist. No, people just say that the whole pedosexual thing should not be considered part of the LGBT because people in the LGBT have openly said they do not want pedophiles in their midst because it makes them look bad. Because those people that are gay, lesbian, bi, or trans get stigmatized because of pedophiles being in their fucking midst. Like, imagine, for example, imagine a gay guy lives his whole life having shit talked about him because of the way he is, when he hasn't hurt anyone. And then right when he gets all the equal rights he could ever ask for, a bunch of pedophiles start trying to attach themselves to the community that he's in. And then he has to deal with the potential stigmatization that these people are in the midst, and he could be labeled one because of the fact that there are pedophiles in the midst of their communities. That's why it is that the LGBT push back against the P plus shit. The reason they push back against the P plus shit is because they do not want pedophiles in their communities. That's why the LGBT push back. It's not conservatives, it's people within that community that say, we do not want these people here because they could stigmatize us and make us look fucking bad. That's what it is. It's men and women saying, we do not want pedophiles in our communities because we fought hard for equality, and then we have a bunch of cocksuckers coming up to us and saying, we want to be in your community. No. They don't have to accept those people in their community. The people in the LGBT deal with enough bullshit. They don't need pedophiles in their community, which in turn could make them look bad. It's fucked up. I must appoint the human rights of all people have. The right to have sex. Conservatives think that we have no control over our bodies. They think that the human race are fools, aka anti-sex. No, they think it's not okay to fuck children, and you're a retarded pedophile yourself, so you're going to keep taking words out of what people say, because you know that if you word things exactly the way they said it, you look fucking crazy. And these parts are human right, the right to choose and control our own destiny. Conservatives believe that people can't think for themselves, so the conservatives have the right to do it for us, aka dictatorship. No. What people have said was that children do not have the maturity and the development to make their decisions long term because they are not thinking for the long term. And because of that, they should not be making serious long term life decisions when they have no proper understanding of what those decisions could fucking mean. That's what people have said. Can you do everyone a favor and stop changing what people say just so they sound like bigots? Because it doesn't work if you actually read up what people actually fucking said. Those debates are on YouTube right now, and they could look at the transcripts of what's being said, and then you look like a lying asshole. As a part of equality and human rights, I am a victim of those fools as well. No, you're just a retarded nonce who went out of his way to start shit with people and then cried about it when he wasn't getting the support he'd hoped. I've seen the rigged fake news debates which ran by conservatives on YouTube. Translation: I saw Amos getting repeatedly verbally curb stomped because he couldn't defend his own positions, and I'm going to scream and cry about it like a retarded 5-year-old. I have been in those debates myself. They treat us liberals like crap. They want to see us fail. I don't need to see what you're already doing. I just know you're doing it. Yet never once did any of those conservatives ever talk about their flaws. Well, here's the thing. A person's individual life problems have nothing at all to do with debating about whether or not someone is for or against being a nonce. A person's life problems have nothing at all to do with that, because they're thinking about the terms of what will happen if society allows it, what will happen if society continues to completely disavow it. That's the thing. You're trying to make arguments that no one ever made because you're an idiot. They talk about everyone else's problems. Of course, what problem for conservatives is a blessing for everyone else. What about rapists? Would you say that rapists are a blessing for everyone else when no one likes rapists for good reason? For example, Amos is a blessing to this planet because unlike those conservatives who only care about themselves, and getting everyone to do what they want, Amos actually cares about humanity and individuality. He stands up for what is real, what is true, and what is beneficial to humanity. He does not tease people for being attracted to other people. Well, here's the thing. By other people, you mean fucking children. Children! Just say fucking children, you lying fucking faggot. Seriously, why the fuck is it that you can't say what people actually fucking said? Stop twisting words, you lying cunt. If someone's gay, don't give a shit. Someone's lesbian, don't give a shit. Someone's heterosexual, don't give a shit. But we're talking about fucking pedophiles, you stupid motherfucker. I don't get why the fuck it is you keep twisting what people say. Are you that fucking retarded or crazy? Well, actually, you're a combination of both. Even when said person does not follow the conservatives' rule of law, like that people can't love who they want, said love must be approved by the conservatives, in most cases, the Bible. No, you dumb fucking retard. They're talking about people fucking kids, and you decided to roll along with it because you thought, well, maybe if I suck Amos's dick enough, he'll notice me, and he'll be my boyfriend, and he'll be my princess forever and ever till the end of time. No. He's in jail right now, probably being turned into a human fleshlight. Why is a lot of this written in fucking red? This is hard as shit to see because it's a very bright color on a white background. Probably not a good idea to do that, champ. Amos stands up for the little man. Yeah, I'm sure he does. He stands up for those who were victimized by heartless conservatives who have a problem with wishing people were dead or telling people that they should have never been born. Well, you said the same thing to myself, and you said that Steve was a cancer to humanity, so it would probably benefit you not to say that kind of shit if you're going to say the same thing about someone else later. But have serious problems respecting people despite their difference, aka not a conservative. Translation. Ching dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Seriously, you might as well just say, anyone that disagrees with me is automatically a Nazi, because at least then it automatically explains your mindset. They, the conservatives, claim the truth is a straight line, and that going around in circles is a bad thing, when in reality the truth is a multidimensional sphere, and lies are a straight line. So these conservatives are going on, talking nonsense in a straight line, while I am speaking in a sphere-like rotation. No, you're just a fucking idiot that believes if he talks himself in circles, no one will actually argue with you. That's how you win an argument. You just ignore what people fucking say. You ignore the facts and information and data brought up that's designed to build credibility around the other person's argument. Because in your mind, if you screech like a fucking retard constantly and deny the existence of certain things, you automatically win the argument. You basically just try to antagonize people to the point where they don't talk to you anymore, and then you claim that's winning. It's not. You're just a fucking idiot. In the end, the truth never changes. War never changes. Men do. And so do the roads that they walk. I had to make a Fallout New Vegas reference while I was doing that, because otherwise I'd get bored. No matter how hard the conservatives try to change and corrupt it, you can't really change and corrupt what's factually true, because if it's true, then evidence would prove it to be true, instead of arguing it in circles like a dipshit. Even a simple book sets them off, because said book exposed humanity to the reality of the environment around them. Yes, because I'm sure every human being on the planet was not aware they were living on a planet until now. They deny and censor that truth constantly, especially in response videos on YouTube. Amos has been the center of many response videos over the months. Well, it's mainly because he kept trying to antagonize people into making videos. He responds to people basically pissing and moaning about bullshit that he instigated, and then people sit there and say, well, actually, you started this. I don't get why you're complaining, dude. You started this. However, said response videos were made by conservatives. Yeah, I know. They didn't agree with you, so they're conservatives because you're a retard. This is why They are so one-sided and filled with hate speech. In fact, they weren't proof that the conservatives have a lot of hatred in their heart. Watch the many response videos made against Amos Yee on YouTube. I watched them, and it made me feel sorry for Amos. No, it's just the fact is that you want to fuck Amos, so you felt like if you simped for him hard enough, he'd pay you some fucking attention. You remind me of that Yuka chick that murdered that male host in that Japanese host club because he would pay her attention, but when she found out that he was paying anyone else attention, she stabbed him to fucking death. Well, actually, he wasn't stabbed to death. He did survive, but he was almost killed. He was lucky to get away when he did. Seriously, I'm willing to bet that if Amos Yee actually did meet you in person and he rejected your feelings, you'd either slit your own throat or you'd just try to stab him repeatedly. Like, you would just go full-on yandere at that point, just murder someone. It made me want to protect him, just because unlike these conservatives, I have a heart and respect for humanity. No, it's just because of the fact that you felt like if you defended him, he'd acknowledge you and pay some attention to you, and that you thought that if you could cry victim and become a figurehead for a bullshit movement nobody was involved in, then maybe, just maybe, you'd see some financial gain coming your way. Which obviously never happened because you're a fucking dipshit. And nothing that they say will ever say that. Alright. Amos is funny, cool, sensitive, and hardcore. What's so hardcore about being a fucking retard that says stupid shit for attention that boils over and chars your ass? It's not a surprise that Damien Skyfire is jealous of Amos Yee. No one's jealous of Amos Yee, they just didn't agree with his opinions and thought his opinions were dumb. I mean, why else would he be so angry over someone who does nothing more than make YouTube videos and live life? I did not realize that someone criticizing a stupid opinion was the same thing as someone overtly bringing up other shit that they were jealous of by projecting the shit out of it like you tend to do. Clearly, it's jealousy. Amos has been on TV both in Singapore and in the US, and Damien has no television or acting experience. Translation. People that are not on TV are automatically jealous of those that aren't, because my understanding of reality is so incredibly limited and broken that I genuinely believe that disagreements with one opinion is automatically jealousy, because I'm a dumbass. Just a mediocre YouTube channel that only conservatives watch, that promote more hate speech than Jimmy Swaggart at church on Sunday, and more biased and fake news than Donald Trump and Fox News combined any day. Of course, Damien is too insecure to admit it, but the people know it's true. Yeah, the people. Who are the people? You and the 500 other personalities in your fucking head? I think everyone's jealous of Amos Yee because his opinions were stupid and they criticized his opinions and said that they could hurt children. And that means that they're jealous because I'm retarded. Seriously, did someone just beat you about the head with a hammer one day and you just lived that injury up? So you're just living with a brain hemorrhage? Nobody deserves the torment of sitting there and hearing conservatives verbally abuse you on YouTube. Then why do you verbally abuse other people? I mean, straight up, you call Cass and Damien bastards and pieces of shit. So why are you allowed to do it? What makes it worse is the fact that they're wrong. They know nothing about me. Everything that they say about me and Amos, for that matter, is fake news. It's fake news. Everything you're hearing right now is fake news. I'm a fish and I'm retarded, but everything you're saying is fake news. I don't even have the intelligence to argue myself out of what I've said, even though they're quoting what I've said verbatim at times. But remember, even if you use my own words against me, because I say things don't exist and then I say they do exist in other contexts, just pretend I didn't say that, otherwise it's fake news. That's how you sound to anyone with a functioning frontal lobe. But they don't care. They don't care about how many people they have hurt. Well, fuck those people. I don't care. How many people killed and harmed themselves because of Damien's lack of self-control and respect for people? Yes, because I'm sure there's just a graveyard full of people who committed self-delete because Damien said their opinions were stupid. Either prove it or don't prove it or shut the fuck up. One or the other. This is why Amos Yee is successful. Because he doesn't need to curse or swear against people who don't believe, follow, and live by his standard. Again, Amos Yee was basically just And with AOC, it's okay to be transgender. With Damien, however, you watch one of Damien's videos on Thinking of Humanity, how anti-humanity they are, anti-human they are. This is serious. They have serious mental problems. So I and many people worldwide can now see how conservatives treat immigrants, liberals, and anyone who is not affiliated with their cult. Translation. You criticize me for being an ugly, retarded piece of shit that says dumb things on the internet to get attention from people who couldn't even acknowledge me otherwise. But remember, if I said it, it means I'm automatically right, regardless of how retarded I sound, bitching about stupid shit, running myself around in a circle. I think I'm a psychologist because I delude myself into believing I'm the smartest human being alive, when I'm too fucking stupid to even get a real job. Seriously, I hope you slit your own throat one day when you finally realize that you've spent your entire life demanding attention from someone that doesn't even acknowledge your existence. Chapter 2. No matter what. No matter how hard we the people try to please conservatives, it will always be in vain. Well, here's the thing. When people ask you to leave them alone, it's not an impossible request. You just don't like it because you realize that if you can't bitch about someone simply saying, I don't care for this and I want nothing more to do with it, then you don't know what to do with your time. I think the only reason you haven't decided to hang yourself is because there's someone else to blame for your problems at every turn. Because nobody has the time or energy to convert. You don't, sort of sense with the word because, to convert themselves into a conservative. No one wants you to be a conservative. They just want you to stop being a dickhead to everyone. In reality, there is no guarantee that they will like you, even if you do exactly what they want. No one's ever said that you needed to do exactly what anyone wanted. They just didn't want you to be a dickhead to everyone. Most of the time, like on YouTube in parentheses, they just find some flaw to gossip against you. You mean like how you go against other people's personal lives and you talk shit about their lives that you have no real business to talk about because it's about shit they're either not doing or never did? For example, a pansexual person is just living his or her life in peace, and here comes all the conservatives hating this pansexual for no reason. Well, usually when they criticize a pedophile on YouTube, it's because said person's decided to keep trying to champion their beliefs, even if their beliefs could hurt children. If you don't like pedosexuals, then fine. It's supposed to be then, not then. But keep it to yourself. No, go fuck yourself. Nobody needs to keep their opinion to themselves just because it royally chaps your fish ass. Just because you get your scales in a ruffle every time someone calls you ugly or said they don't like people being nonces, that is not an excuse for you to try to censor people or shut them down. Why is it that if someone dislikes pedophiles, they can't say that, but when it comes down to you bitching about fucking anyone at all that you don't like, you have the right to scream it from the fucking rooftops? Nobody really cares if you hate pansexuals because it's not your business how they live their lives. It is when they hurt other people and do things that could potentially be committed like crimes against someone else. More importantly, if you think it's not anyone else's business how someone lives their lives, then why do you keep constantly trying to insert yourself into other people's lives to try to tell them how they should or should not think or feel? Because this entire book is basically, you should not act like this, but at the same time, everyone should be allowed to live their lives. Well, make up your mind, which is it? Plus, promoting acts of violence against them is a hate crime. Not really, because they're not a protected class. Pedophiles are not a protected class. Same goes for the LGBTQ plus community. Of course, conservatives don't. Why is all this highlighted in yellow? Don't know what self-control is. This coming from the same person who cannot go a day without bringing me up in passive-aggressive ass-hurt issues, as well as the fact that they have anger issues. Again, the whole ranting on the internet thing is somewhat a performance art. Ramping up one's anger for the purpose of theatrics is not the same thing as being the psychopath who smashes something against the wall and then straight up starts screaming. They get angry out of nowhere for no reason, and then get on YouTube ranting hate, yet somehow it's everyone else's doing, because conservatives are too much of a coward to admit when they are wrong. Sadly, this is how people get low self-esteem. No. Do you want to know how people get low self-esteem? They talk to people about their issues that have affected them in life and caused them problems and caused them anguish in some way. And then a person like you comes along and says all their problems and all their pain and all their anguish no longer exists because it can't exist in a world where you believe everything will be perfect. That's genuinely what it is. People like you create low self-esteem because you go after people for things they talk about when it's really something personal to them. And then you just take fucking, like you take a baseball bat and a crowbar to it and start bashing them over it. If anything, one would think that pansexuality is not, quote, wrong, but is in fact perfectly fine. Only a pedophile thinks being a pedophile is perfectly fine. Conservatives call anyone who is not heterosexual bad names. Not really. If you're trans or lesbian or gay or even asexual, I don't care. Or bi. It's the fact that people don't agree with people being pedophiles, and that's what you take umbrage with. The only reason you keep attaching the LGBT to the pedophile bullshit is because you genuinely think it's the only way to get yourself out of this. It has nothing to do with the victims, but those who do the victimizing, aka conservatives. Translation: it doesn't matter if you're a CSA victim, because if you don't agree with Stetson, you're the victimizer. Because love is a natural emotion. It's not love to violently rape a little kid, you piece of fucking garbage. Anyone can love someone, not you, because you don't possess the ability to love, because you genuinely only think with your tiny dick. It has nothing to do with IQ, race, where you are from, age, which never existed, religion, title, gay, straight, pansexual, transgender, or race. You said race twice, you dumb motherfucker. Well, here's the thing. It's not love if someone openly takes advantage of someone's ignorance to get what they want from them. All that matters is that there is love between those two people. Well, the fact is there is no love between someone actually sexually exploiting another human being. That's not love. Your whole idea of love is that when someone has sex, that's love, because your whole idea of love is physical. Because you have no fucking idea how to actually express it without fucking someone. No one's ever shown you love because people can't stand you. Not those people and the conservatives. Nobody cares about someone being pedosexual but conservatives, except for literally everyone that cares for the well-being of children. Nobody cares if someone is a drag queen but conservatives. No one said anything about being a drag queen. You brought that up completely out of fucking nowhere. Nobody cares about someone being gay but conservatives. Again, no one said anything about being gay. You made that the issue just now, just so you'd have a reason to whine. Nobody cares about a person who's transgender except for conservatives. No, people just questioned your status as an individual, and then you got uppity about it and crying about it because you know that the only way to do it is to cry persecution. So conservatives are wrong as usual. No, it's just that whenever you're confronted about shit, your only thing is to scream transphobe and cry persecution. But why do conservatives get so triggered over things that has nothing to do with lives? Because they're brainwashed. No, it's the fact that you're a sorry sack of shit who openly exploits people's insecurities and problems and then throws them back at them whenever they open up about something personal because you're a fucking piece of garbage. It makes no sense wasting your time getting angry and hating people. Then why do you do it? It changes nothing. Neither does whining about it. People are still going to live their lives, have sex with who they want, move where they want to move, etc. And the conservatives have no, have spelled with an R at the end because it must be so hard to spell check shit. No right to censor freedom of expression. You do it all the time, so you're the biggest conservative in the room. Seeing how they're doing this is proof that the conservatives are anti-free speech and anti-free expression. Even if they deny it, because if not, they would never try to deny people the right to love and the right to choose who we love. Translation: if you disagree with being a pedophile, then it means that you're a neo-Nazi who hates freedom of expression, despite the fact that the person that wrote this bullshit has actively fought freedom of expression and freedom of speech by repeatedly engaging in DMCA campaigns to get people they didn't like off the internet. Of course. Oh look, you finally used the word of course instead of a course. Give this dumbass a banana sticker or some shit. We all known worldwide to criticize. Of course, conservatives are well known worldwide to criticize and mock love and those who I love. No, you're just a retarded pedophile and you keep trying to think that fucking a child is love. Although it does not matter what those conservatives think, it still creates unrest in society. Because conservatives are trying to divide and conquer. Hence, you didn't even spell hence correctly, it's H-E-N-C, you dumb motherfucker. Hence the dang, united we stand, divided we fall. No, it was because back then the colonies were trying to unite under one banner because they realized that the governing power at the time, aka the crown, was going to crush them under its heel unless they would all work together to fight the Revolutionary War. That's why it was called United We Stand, Divided We Fall. It's because if the colonies didn't work together and they fought amongst themselves, the British would have an easier way to control them, therefore winning the war. You're a fucking idiot. Why do you think the conservatives want their system of age to exist bad? It's not that people want it to exist, it just does. People are aware of its existence because they can see it happening when someone physically matures and psychologically matures. So that they can decide humanity into fractions. You mean divide. Learn how to fucking spell. So that it is easier to take us and oppress us, because truth is, age never existed and never will exist. It was made up by conservatives to force people every day to do what they want, aka population control. Not really. Because, like, people growing older physically and psychologically, it's not stopping people from having children. If anything, people have children regardless. I don't recall there ever being like a one-child policy administered in the United States. Although realistically, given how overpopulated the world is, a policy like that might not seem too fucking crazy in the long run. In the same way that pedophiles don't exist. Translation, it doesn't exist because I say it doesn't. It's a term created by conservatives to try and punish those who are not heterosexual, and being them, bring them to shame. There is nothing shameful about a person's sexuality, so the conservatives failed again. Translation, you're a retarded pedophile, and you want to automatically attach pedophiles to gay people because you're a fucking piece of shit. In the real world, there are no pedophiles, just like there are no faggots, wet men. Oh, nope, not gonna say that. Not gonna say those, like, faggots, W word that's synonymous with Hispanic people, that's a slur. N word, not gonna say that. Or fish, a racist term against Asians, which you've proven not to prove, like you've never once proven it's a slur against Asians, because it was actually a slur against Israeli people. And Israeli people are prominently Eastern European. Most famously used by conservatives Damien Skyfire, Steve Trowbridge, Jennifer, etc., directed towards those with squinty eyes. Dude, you don't have squinty eyes. Your eyes are bulging out of your fucking skull like you've never blinked a day in your goddamn life. You're an idiot. Only human beings, unique individuals in their own way, which the conservatives have no right to discriminate or harass anyone because of said individuality or mental capacity, which has nothing to do with anything. Well, people call you an idiot because you say stupid shit all the time and then you piss and moan about it when it ends horribly for you. In fact, liberals do not agree with conservatives or their ideology. That doesn't mean anything. Liberals show equal love and respect to L, because you can't spell all. You have a missing L. It's probably the same L you keep taking. We do not hate people for any reason like the conservatives do. Well, you seem to hate white people an awful lot, because whenever someone's Caucasian, you bring up their race repeatedly to scream and bitch about them. We leave people alone, and we take care of our own lives. I wish you would off your own life, because the world would be a better place without you. And no, you don't. You don't leave people alone. Because whenever you find something out about someone you can use against them, you do it every day. Every time you get a chance to, you do it without a fucking second thought. So stop pulling this whole we don't do anything shit, because it's a made up fucking nonsensical lie that only you believe. You're not a liberal. You're a fucking neo-communist who genuinely believes that if he bitches about bullshit he brings upon himself, he's somehow winning the argument when he acts like a complete cunt to everyone. Seriously, you were probably one of the shittiest persons anyone at all could ever meet. Because whenever something goes on in their life that's not your business, you make it your business by bringing it up and using it fucking against them. So, it is seriously unfair and incorrect to say that, quote, liberals feel the same way as conservatives do against the LGBTQIA plus community. No. What people said is that people in the LGBT would heavily disagree with the concept of pedophiles joining their community. That's what people said. It's not conservatives, it's not liberals, it's not centrists, it's not ANCAPs. It is literally just anyone with a fucking brain saying that they would prefer not to have pedophiles mingling amongst the gay people because they're afraid the gay people would be triggered and attacked by other people who would accuse them of being in cahoots with the pedophiles as a result of the pedophiles being in their midst. That is what they're concerned with. Everyone's concern has been entirely based upon simply saying that they don't believe it's a good idea to have pedophiles intermingling amongst the LGBT because that would in turn would allow actual homophobes to attack them, and then attack them for reasons that are unjustified, just like they had faced attacks and condemnation before gay rights advanced. You'd be setting them up to get hit again, except this time it'd be for an even less justified reason, because these people are also rejected by the LGBT. In fact, no matter how many fake news videos, rigged, tainted debates, threats, bullying, or harassment, the LGBTP plus community is still strong and will accept any group who wants to join said community. No. They won't, because they're not going to want pedophiles or ephebophiles in their midst. The LGBT are not going to want pedophiles and ephebophiles in their mix. No one wants a group of baby-raping child molesters in their midst. Same thing goes if it was a straight person, a gay person, or anyone. No one's going to want these people in their midst of communities. That's why whenever someone ever gets caught raping someone or molesting someone, everyone in their community says, "Get the fuck out!" Because everyone knows these motherfuckers are a danger to them and how they're going to be perceived. We, the LGBTP plus community, accept everyone. Not really, because, since when did you speak for all the gay people and all the trans people and all the lesbians and bisexual people of the world? When did you become the hive mind that speaks for everyone in this group? Because you're speaking in terms of absolutes about people who you don't even fucking know. And then you're trying to make calls on their behalf about who they will or will not accept in their groups. I recommend you not fucking do that. You're an idiot. Wait, the LGBT accept everyone. The LGBTP plus community wants nothing to do with conservatives. Well, what about people who happen to be right-leaning who are gay? Not everyone that's right-leaning is a Christian, and not every Christian's a homophobe. You look at everyone like a stereotype. Your whole idea of a gay person is like someone that's depicted as gay in the Toxic Avenger movie. Because your whole mindset is they have to behave and act like the stereotypical representation of what a gay person is to you. So Stephen Trowbridge was incorrect, like he always is, when he said the LGBTP plus community is not accepting towards pedosexuals. Well, okay, go up to people in a pride march and ask them if they would accept pedophiles or pedosexuals in their communities. Go ahead, actually go up and ask them. I want to see you get your ass beat at a pride parade in front of everyone. Go ahead and ask them. Because for many years, pedosexuals have been a part of the LGBTP plus community way before it was, quote, cool for the conservatives to abuse and harass said community. No one ever thought it was cool to harass gay people, lesbians, bi, or trans people. No one ever said it was cool. The only reason that LGBT people were attacked in the 80s and 70s, and even parts of the 90s, is because back then society had a very socially regressive take on these people. That does not fucking mean everyone thought it was cool. The only reason it was the societal norm for a lot of people in those particular parts of history is because of the fact that rights were not advanced yet. And even then, not everyone treated gay people that way. This is why I keep telling these conservatives to, quote, get educated. No, you're just a fucking retard, and that's your only response to anything you don't like, is to just assume that you're right, even if you're not. So that when you make YouTube videos, you can be confident that you are giving accurate, no spin, no bias / information. Let's see. To your viewers. But according to Steve, quote, we choose to run from the truth instead of embracing it, aka we operate ignorance to gain knowledge by when any conservatives in their information. Let's see here. Then why would anyone trust these conservatives with their information gathering when 99.9% of their videos are as real as Donald Trump care? Can you do me a favor and stop talking about Trump every single fucking time you say anything? Keep in mind, no one mentioned Trump at all in the entire debate system. Like the whole series of debates everyone had, Trump was an irrelevant detail that you kept bringing up. So shut the fuck up. Another thing, If you want people to appreciate the pedophiles and the pedosexuals, then I dare you to go up and tell people that they have to accept child molesters into their community. I would like to see how many people would kick your fucking ass when you bring that up. Then, like, bullet point for some weird ass reason. This is why such conservative commentators on YouTube have been shut down, like Suit Yourself, who did a fake news based response video on Amos Yee, which included the typical hate speech laced rant, a whole lot of bad editing, mediocre effects, and fake news. Translation: I got mad because he criticized Anos, so I got my anally chapped bullshit reporting hat on and started reporting him nonstop for bullshit, cause I'm a whiny little bitch. The only people who were sad to see him gone were conservatives. No, I just don't think it's okay to shut people down because they criticize someone that you have a hard-on for. Of course, the victims were happy to see Suit Yourself it gone. Jeff Holiday was another conservative who harassed and bullied Amos Yee and myself. Jeff Holiday never talked to you, you dumb fuck. Jeff Holiday never once fucking spoke to you, you fucking spaz. All you fucking did was start shit with people and then say that anyone that disagrees with you is a fucking Nazi. Jeff Holiday didn't say jack fucking shit to you. He didn't. And if he did say anything, it was most likely a comment reply that he never fucking got around to making a video towards. So yeah, fuck off. The good news is that nobody takes these conservatives seriously anyway. Well, if no one takes them seriously, then why do you take such umbrage with them being around? If everything they're saying is a bunch of bullshit that no one believes, then why do you get such anally chapped about it? Why is it that when you show up and fight, like tooth and nail over shit that you claim you don't care about? You claim it's not a big deal, you claim that nothing bad's gonna happen, you claim that there'll be no consequence to you, but yet when you're confronted with shit you don't like, instead of ignoring it like you keep saying other people need to, you run at them and try fighting tooth and fucking nail for someone that doesn't even acknowledge your fucking existence. Their fear-mongering crap has not changed how humanity functions. It's supposed to be there, T-H-E-I-R, as in a possessive noun, instead of T-H-E-R-E, as in a location, like over there to your left. You fucking retard. And it's not fear-mongering. It's common sense that you don't let child molesters around children. You don't let people into a community with protection, because what happens is those people start doing awful shit that will negatively affect the way that community is perceived, which could in turn create more stigmatization and more violence against that community than they might already face for reasons that are not justified. Instead, only expose the very hate that lies within these particular people's souls. Yeah, I know, people criticize Amos Yee, and then you start crying about it, and then you throw yourself on the ground like a baby back bitch, because every time you're confronted with shit you don't like, you get on the verge of pissing yourself. Seriously, you might as well just open every single fucking dialogue you make with the belief that no one can challenge whatever bullshit you do. You might as well just say that. Just straight up say, if you say one mean thing to me, I'll cry and piss myself, because at least then it'll be somewhat accurate, as opposed to this shit where you just twist what people say. Like a fucking idiot. Why haven't they just given up? They don't need to give up. They're not trying to make anyone do shit. They just simply say, this is why I disagree with it, this is why this opinion is bad, this is why these things don't work in society, this is why this statement does not work. That's all people were saying. They were highlighting the flaws of a person's behavior and activities because they were pointing out the fact that these beliefs were actually overwhelmingly fucking negative. That's all people were ever fucking saying. It was your sorry ass that decided to get uppity about it and throw a fucking tantrum. They should have gave up when people started doing the opposite of what the conservatives wanted them to do. No, here's the thing. No one said shit in terms of making people do anything. No one ever did that. No one ever fucking did that. You're just saying that they did so that you can justify acting like a fucking sped to everyone. I mean, that's the thing. You act like a special education reject because whenever you're confronted with shit you don't like, your first thought goes to having a fucking tantrum. Chapter 3, Moves and Countermoves. Could you explain to me why the title of the chapter is merged into the fucking body text? Moves and countermoves. Consequently, the conservatives create these sob stories, aka fake news media, in order to get sympathy of others foolish enough to believe their lies. Consent never existed, so an argument that people can be in relationships is not horrible. In fact, love is never horrible. No, you stupid fucking pedophile faggot. Oh, look, I called you a faggot again. Faggot, faggot, faggot! You're a lying piece of shit. What people said was that when someone acts on someone sexually against their wishes, that is a crime. If you want to live in a world where people can just rape you violently, then go to prison. I'm sure you'll love it there. I'm sure you'll love being raped within an inch of your life, then almost beaten to death with a fucking book. They'll probably beat you with a thesaurus just to emphasize how little you know about the English language. Because you're a delusional dumbass. This proves how uneducated the conservatives really are, because an intelligent human being would know that love is never a bad thing. It's not love if someone's violently raped, you fucking piece of shit. Love means that two people genuinely care for one another, and there is mutual kindness and attraction and devotion and respect involved. There is no respect when someone knocks you unconscious, rips off your clothes, and sodomizes you violently. There is no love there. There is no respect there, because the other person's input on the situation is completely fucking ignored. That's what you do. You ignore horrible shit people do because you're a fucking idiot that lives in Disney World, apparently, where his mindset is, everything's fuddy-duddy bullshit Disneyland. No, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking moron. No exceptions, but conservatives want to act like they know everything, which is a lie. In fact, most conservatives, or what conservatives know, are in fact fake news, delusional, because you can't spell for shit, you fucking illiterate, thinking. For example, Andy Warski, another conservative, make up a story that he was abused at the hands of abusers. No, he said that his babysitter had sexually abused him by pinning him to the ground when he was a 4-year-old child and making him initiate oral sex on her, when he was unable to understand what exactly he was doing, why she was doing it, and what she was doing was a fucking crime. And of course, the conservatives use this as an opportunity to promote their brand of lies and deception. No, it's just the fact that it's another example of how it's not okay to be raped as a kid. To piggyback on this story, in order to use it as an example against love that was not per conservative manifesto, but what that they follow, Blair White conservative tried to push the story against the LGBT community to say that somehow love will lead to abuse or whatever. No, you stupid fucking fake Asian wannabe dipshit fuckface. Someone pointed out the fact that when someone is taken advantage of sexually because they don't fucking know any better, then that's a crime. That is what people have been fucking saying. It's not anyone else's fault that you're fucking retarded. You're just missing the point intentionally. That's all it is. It's just intentionally missing the point. Which makes no sense because love is not a form of abuse. No, again, you're conflating sex and love. You're changing out the word sex with love. Because you're a fucking pervert. All you do is obsess with sex. You don't see it as a pleasurable activity between a partner or between someone casual. You see it as the be-all end-all for existence because no one will fuck you. All the while, this quote incident never really actually happened. Andy Warski lied. How do you know? Were you in his life? Were you following around like a fucking UAV drone, dictating every single thing that goes on in his life? Because if not, you can't make that distinction. Why do conservatives make up stories? I don't know, why do you? Why do you make up stories about being the president of a made-up country? Why do you make up stories about being the wife of someone who doesn't even acknowledge your existence anymore? Why do you make up stories about being married to this woman called, I believe it was Patricia Lupas, who later pretty much ceases to exist at a certain point, like you didn't even pay them any mind after a certain degree of time, to put more of a push towards their agenda? There's no point in asking a question if you're just going to answer it yourself, dipshit. Like when McDonald's makes their burgers look better in order to draw in customers. They're superimpose the burgers on TV, but when you go to the restaurant, it's a lot smaller than how it's presented on TV. Well, of course, you fucking retard. If you're watching the TV, if you're watching a McDonald's commercial on a 72-inch TV, and the hamburger is a 48-inch long hamburger, it's obviously not going to be the same size on the fucking restaurant, you dumb fuck. Same goes for the conservatives. They know that nobody is going to believe their love is bad bullshit. So they superimpose on the idea that love can lead to damage and catastrophic consequences. Translation. Again, when someone says sexual abuse, you change it for love, because you're a pedophile. In order to bring you to their side, to spelled T-O-O, because you're a retard, their side, aka anti-love movement, via using fear to trigger an emotional response in their favor. Parentheses, like what they use against gays, lesbians, and the entire LGBT community, Muslims, immigrants, Democrats. When the reality is love is a blessing to humanity, not a curse, end parentheses. And in the end of this, quote, movement, you'll be hurt in the end, because you'll start to realize that their, quote, fight was all for nothing, and you victimized innocent people for no reason whatsoever, because there is no love in conservatism or their multiple hate speech movements. And don't think the conservatives will have your back if you start naming names, or if you if you stop doing and or believing what they want you to believe / do, because they are well known to disown people for the most trivial reasons in order to protect themselves, which includes family members and close friends. They would disown their entire family if they were gay or liberal, etc. No, because a lot of the people that you attack have gay friends or are gay themselves. A lot of this stupid horse shit you've been pulling has just been you attacking gay people for not seeing things your way, attacking a trans person for not seeing things your way, attacking women for not seeing things your way, attacking people who are black for not seeing things your way, attacking a man who is Indian for not seeing things your way, attacking another man who is Asian who did not see things your way. You've actually attacked a more diverse group of people than you people you claim to represent, you fucking spedfile. How does it feel to be so fucking stupid that you actively go against a very diverse group of people, mind you, of different sexual orientations, races, nationality, and genders, and even when you're faced with the fact that the people you bitch about are more diverse than you are, you still try to make it about all these other bullshit microaggression level things, which are basically just you being a piece of shit cocksucker to everyone, and then saying they have to fucking tolerate it. In parentheses, there are many reasons as to why they choose to abuse the trust and loyalty of the people, denying that certain sexualities don't exist. Well, here's the thing, they're not, like, the reason they don't see pedophilia as a sexuality is because it's actually more common with the disorder. Because the certain parts of the brain that act in an abnormal way when it comes down to a disorder are actually the brains active with those who struggle with pedophilia. As opposed to someone being gay, bi, or trans, where those parts of the brain are not affected in that way. I.e., those people are not mentally ill with that particular problem. Like, a trans person will struggle with gender dysphoria, but the fact is, like, a lot of these people are otherwise not really suffering with anything, except for maybe depression and things like that, which are caused by people like you existing in order to promote their famous heterosexuality, then randomly get mad when those who speak the truth and free their minds of those who are brainwashed by those same conservatives. So, of course, okay, here, get the baseball bat ready. They're gonna say homosexuality isn't real. Yeah, it is. Being gay is very real. Everyone knows that gay people are attracted to the same sex. That's all there is to that. Heterosexuality doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't. It's basically just a term you made up so that it applies to pedophilia. Not because what they say is true, conservatives rarely tell the truth in parentheses, but because it fits to their conservative agenda of world domination. Yeah, calling you a retarded pedophile is the same thing as trying to take over the planet. Otherwise, why would they care if somebody's a pansexual or transgender or gay or lesbian or drag queen, etc.?
No one cares for any of those things, but they dislike the whole pedophilia bullshit because you're constantly trying to tell yourself that it's okay to be a child molester. They are busy tending to their own lives and not meddling in other people's lives. Motherfucker, that's all you do. All you fucking do is meddle in other people's lives, because whenever you're confronted about shit that you have no business to speak about, that you keep trying to commentate on in other people's lives outside of the internet, you go out of your way to defend it and say, well, I'm just defending people. You're not defending anyone. You're just lying about someone with the intention of nailing them to the wall over shit, and when you can't justify crucifying them over bullshit, you screech and cry. That's all you do. Whenever you're confronted with shit you don't like about someone, especially if it's not even true, you still run with it to try to put it out there for other people to get fucking smashed over it. Yeah, sadly, that's not the case. Oh, will you shut the fuck up? I mean, really, you're the biggest piece of shit in the fucking room because you're always the dickhead trying to make other people feel shitty about their problems that you have no business at all to speak about. There is nothing wrong with pansexuality. There's nothing wrong with homosexuality or heterosexuality. Well, here's the thing. The difference between being gay or straight is that more often than not, they won't rape children. You don't hear the conservatives complaining about being heterosexual, yet they complain with everything else is doing. Well, they do when they're raping children. Like, here's the thing, a sex offender, it could be anyone that's gay or straight. This is proof that they are lying about which sexuality actually exists. No, it's not. It's just that you're a dipshit and you keep trying to bitch about everything. They will attack any, quote, competing sexuality, making it seem worse than it actually is, in order to promote their own, to make heterosexuality the number one and soon the only sexuality, aka conversion therapy. Aren't you the dumb motherfucker that basically said conversion therapy was legal in your made-up country? No, here's the thing. People are not trying to champion gay conversion therapy. They're simply saying it's not okay to be a nonce. If you don't understand that, it's not my fault. You're fucking stupid. This is the same thing the conservatives do with Islam. Make Islam seem so evil that you have no choice but to be Christians. Again, criticizing the radicals in any belief system does not mean that the people that are moderate or the people that are not doing shit to anyone are automatically ignored. Red bullet point. Then they insult your mental capacity when it is them with the problem. No, you. Because everyone must change for them and accommodate them, but they don't have to change for anybody. No, you. They can just stay the same while the world changes and evolves around them, frozen in time, yet they never make an effort to upgrade their knowledge because they think that they are better than everyone else. No, you! Which is why you hear them say pansexuality is wrong, but I am never wrong with anyone else thinks I do. Instead of saying pansexuality is a good thing, it's not. Translation. You defend pedophilia because you are one, and then you tap dance around it whenever people confront the fact that you admitted to it in one of your own publications. My cup of tea, it's not my cup of tea because I'm heterosexual, but it's their preference, and I will not hinder them. Fuck you! We're not gonna condone people raping kids just because you personally think this fuddy-duddy Disneyland idea of the world works. It doesn't! Well, here's the thing. What if someone, for example, had the sexual fetish of killing people while they fuck them? Does that mean we are not allowed to say that that's fucked up, especially when the other person is still being murdered as a result? I mean, I really want to know, if someone had that fetish, if someone had like a blood fetish where they had to kill someone to get off, would you or would you not take issue with that? It's the same shit when someone rapes a little kid, or really rapes anybody. Someone else is paying for it physically and psychologically while the other person gets their jollies off. The difference between the two, which conservatives still haven't figured out, is that example that shows more hostility towards humanity. Basically, it's either you are with the against America approach. Instead, the second is an example of which is basically it's your life, you make your own choices, even if I as a conservative don't believe in them. The first one has many problems. For one thing, they make it seem like it's so important to be correct. So much so that they become incorrect by saying that pedosexuality is bad because that is conservatives believe. No, it's bad because, like, anyone with a degree of psychology knows that someone being raped as a child or an adult suffers psychological issues afterwards because they have to try to overcome what's been done to them. When not everyone is a conservative and does not make pedosexuality is wrong. Fuck off. Instead, it makes the conservatives wrong because their arguments only consist of do-as-told tactics. Everything must be how I want it to be. Well, that is how you think. Everyone must believe in what I want them to believe. Yeah, that's you to a T. In fact, the only reason why pansexuality is bad is because conservatives say so. No, it's because if you look at science, like actual psychologists and people that have done research and studies into how being fucked by an adult affects kids, you'll realize that there's a big difference between, oh, this did not show any harm, or it's like, oh shit, this one's fucked up, he's killing himself, stop, he's killing himself! But remember, like suicidal ideations, depression, withdrawing from one's family, yeah, all the side effects don't matter, because Stetson's a pedophile. Yeah, when liberals speak of Trump's equality against in the White House, which is more than conservative and actually bad nonsense, they beg for proof, citations, and documents. Well, here's the thing. When people argue against pedophilia, they provide citations, documents, and proof. They provide data to help prove their case. They don't do this retarded shit that you do, where you argue yourself in circles and say that no matter what anyone says, you're automatically fucking right. It's not everyone else's fault, you're a fucking retard. Not because liberals are wrong, but because conservatism is so fragile that one counter-move against them, i.e. the truth, can destroy them and everything that they stand for. So they go into defense mode. Okay, I didn't realize we were playing like Big Shield Gardner. And start making attack moves against everyone who they feel is a threat. Quote, the conservatives are their world enemies. The world are their enemies, but no matter how much they protest, yell, scream, or abuse you on YouTube and in the streets, it will never change the obvious fact, nothing about the conservatives is obvious, that they are wrong. Just that they have been for thousands of years. Conservatism hasn't existed for thousands of years, you fucking faggot. Conservatism has existed for maybe 350 to 400 fucking years. Religions have existed for thousands of years. And realistically, the religious institutions that you keep bitching about have nothing at all to do with this horse shit. You're just a fucking idiot. You're a retard. A fucking retard. You keep including bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with anything because you're an idiot whose only argumentation is, well, that doesn't exist because I say it doesn't exist. Okay, retard, just stuff your head in a fucking blender. Seriously, someone just needs to get a blender, take the cup off, and just put your dick in it. You're not going to procreate anyway, so they'll just be doing the world a favor by stopping you from doing so. This is an example is seen from open-minded people. Open-minded people respect the fact that we are not all the same. Well, here's the thing, though. You want everyone to think the same. You do. Because whenever someone disagrees with your bullshit and points out any failing of your logic, you automatically call them conservative. Automatically. There doesn't even need to be a way to prove them being conservative. Your whole mindset is if they disagree with anything at all that you say, they're conservative. Like, at all. It doesn't matter how niche it is. It doesn't matter how small the disagreement is. The moment they disagree with you, you brand them a conservative. That's genuinely the way your fucking brain seems to fucking work. That we as human beings have many differences, but in no way is it an excuse to do ill will against anyone. Then why the fuck do you do it? This is one of the many reasons why I support Amos Yee. You support Amos Yee because you're a fucking pedophile, and you thought maybe if he got support, your little pedophilia would grow into like a big movement, and you'd become a celebrity amongst the pedophiles. Because an open-minded person, I care about the suffering of others. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Because whenever people suffer from shit that you don't believe exists, you just say that the suffering doesn't exist, and then whatever they go through is not real, yada yada. Like the whole 9 yards of like passive, like basically selective disagreement. Because let's be honest, if someone goes through something horrific that you don't think is a crime, you don't care about their suffering. You care about the suffering of pedophiles and child molesters and rapists. You don't care about the people that they fucking hurt. I know for a fact that nothing good comes out of hostility against anyone, and Amos Yee has not done that. Translation: this person has not openly been hostile, therefore they are better than anyone that's been hostile, because my mindset is so incredibly one-sided that I have to favor everyone, unless it's someone that I don't agree with. Many conservatives have been hostile against Amos Yee, but he is still the cool, charismatic, charming person that many people worldwide know and love. Translation: no you. In fact, only conservatives hate Amos Yee. Conservatives hate everyone who is not part of their cult. You mean like how you hate anyone that doesn't agree with you, because if they're not part of your little retarded pedophile sewing circle, you screech and cry? The only the conservatives waste their lives making fake news-laced response videos bad-mouthing Amos Yee when there is no justification for their actions. You mean like how you make hundreds of publications about someone else, constantly lying about them as a way to try to nail them to the wall and crucify them over shit? An open-minded person would never be disrespectful towards someone who believes in something different. Then why don't you start exemplifying that so-called mentality that you claim to champion so fucking hard? If we don't agree with someone, we let it go. No, you don't. You don't let it go. You get butthurt about it and talk about it for fucking years. If someone is a different religious sexuality, we become and remain their friend. No, you don't. Because whenever someone disagrees with you, you talk down to them and shit talk them. We protect those who suffer at the hands of conservatives. No, you don't. You just keep trying to make an argument that goes in a circle just so you can say that you're right. We don't help out with the inflicting of suffering, nor do we volunteer to do so. You cause other people suffering all the time by being a dick to them. We encourage our friends to love and respect everyone. You don't have friends. We do not motivate our friends to do evil against those who are different than us, like the conservatives do. Translation: if someone sees someone's video and they disagree with your opinion and they think you're fucking stupid and they say that, it's the same thing as someone putting a gun into their head and making them do it. In example 1, everyone who is not a conservative are doomed. In the second example, everyone, those who are not conservative, are at peace. Translation: if you agree with everything I say, I'll make the world a giant fuddy-duddy bullshit unicorn Disneyland. Unified and free under control of their own destiny and those who we want to be. Most people would want to live their lives based on example 2. Only conservatives would live by example 1. Shows how closed-minded the conservatives really are. No, because you're just choosing what people believe for them, and then you're talking about them as though they don't understand their own fucking beliefs. That's all you're doing. You're bitching about what people say and do against you, and then portraying it as Nazism, essentially, when no one actually practices Nazism.